Hey guys, I'm Dimsies from the Omnic Post. A few weeks ago I did a video in which I showed off the differences between some of the maps in Overwatch 1, aka the current Overwatch, and Overwatch 2, which is still set to be released on October 4th. Well, the PvP part is. For the PvE part we'll have to wait till 2023. Now the previous video I did was on the control maps. The control maps that were available in the Overwatch 2 beta, to be more precise. Because not all of the maps were on the roster in both of the betas. I'll leave a link to that video below. I've also done previous videos where I look at the changes on Kings Row and Eichenwalde. Both of those maps have had some substantial changes that seem to be tied into that PvE that we're getting in 2023. I'll leave a link to both videos in the description too. But there are more maps that got changes in Overwatch 2. And much like in the previous video, a lot of these changes are rather small. And almost all of them are strategic changes. Mainly objects that get added or moved to break a line of sight or to be used as cover. In this second, and for now the final part of this series, we'll be taking a look at the escort and hybrid maps. Alright, let's dive in. Let's start out in Dorado, Mexico, where piñatas never make it into the next round. When you walk out of the attacker spawn, you might notice a new electrical box, which might be because all of the extra power Overwatch 2 demands, or it's just a nice place to hide. Yeah, I'm going to go for the second option. Moving a little further around the corner, two carts are now parked along the payload's road. That's a lot of peace. These are two floating cars. Now, is there anybody else that is wondering why these cars are always bobbing around? Can you imagine waiting in a car like this when your significant other is in the shop around the corner buying some breakfast quesadillas? Or during a stakeout where you're trying to catch a robbery in action? This must be so nauseating. Alright, but I'm getting carried away again. These new additions make a nice obstacle on what sometimes can be a tough spot to progress. Another nice addition can be found right past the first checkpoint, where a wall is now protecting those coming through the furthest doorway. And right before the second checkpoint, there's another electrical box against the wall for some reason. Look, it might be because I play a lot of Reinhardt, but I don't see me hiding behind that box. I think this might be an aesthetical update. I don't know. Someone must have felt that that wall needed more, box. Maybe I'm just missing something here. That's it for Dorado, however, so let's move on to Gibraltar. Watchpoint Gibraltar is the map with the most of these small changes. Well, apart from the attacker's spawn room, which has some new content on the screens and some stuff that was moved around. It kinda looks like Gibraltar is going to be the hub, where we see all of our quests. The epicenter of all that is PvE. But I'll come back to that in another video. When you leave that spawn room and look at the higher ground, you might notice that there's a new little structure up there. It kind of looks like a gas cabinet? I'm not sure. Moving along further, a small crate next to the commissionary door was replaced by a bigger one to supply some extra cover. Well, basically to supply cover to more people than just Torbjorn. Straight across from there, another of these bigger crates was added. Once beyond the first checkpoint and that gate, the higher ground on the left or the right, depending on what team you're on, got some extra cover with a stack of crates covered by what looks like a type of tarp. Probably to protect them from all those seagulls you can hear. Those little critters will poop on anything. Moving on swiftly to past the second checkpoint. In the final corner, the players on higher ground can find some cover behind another of those gas cabinets. While downstairs, a torp-sized crate was added. And right at the final point, an extra gas cabinet was placed to make that final push a little more explosive. See what I did there? Fine. Wasn't funny. We'll just move on to Hollywood. In a typical Los Angeles fashion, some douchebag parked his car right in front of the Chinese theater. Probably a B-list actor. Fast forward to the cowboy village, where a huge standing crate now blocks the entrance to the hotel, and a huge electrical unit was placed right in front of the second checkpoint. The final change is another of those typical movie set crates on the flanking route just before the final point. These are all very useful spots for some extra cover, or a lot of extra cover. One unit is the size of a house. Sure, a Torbjorn-sized house, but still. Moving on from a summery Hollywood to a sizzling Junker town. When you step outside of Junkrat and Roadhog's hideout, you'll see a brand new barrel placed against the opposite wall. Most likely a water barrel, but on the other hand, this is Junker town. Who knows what is in there? An old rusty van found its final resting place next to the stairway, and at the next block, another one of those barrels was added. Now, This will hopefully be fixed by release. But while adding the barrel, an artist moved over the couch that was standing there to make some space. But that artist seemed to have forgotten to move the couch cushions. So they're still in the old place, which gives us a rather disturbed result. But seriously, how fast did they need to make these changes? How can you not notice this? As we move closer to the Junkertown gate, 2 crates are now adding some much needed cover to the lower ground. Right at the edge, where many Reinhardts made a slight miscalculation and are seen sliding over the edge. That same type of stack crates also supplies some cover on the inside of town, right near the gate, and 3 of them now secure the entrance to the tattoo parlor. 3 crates, that's right. There clearly are some things going on in there that are not meant to be seen. It's probably a Garfield tattoo. And our final stop for today is Route 66. And there is but one change in the whole map, but it is a curious one. A new piece of rock seems to have sprung out right in front of the outhouse near the final checkpoint. Look guys, once an 8-foot rock starts popping out of the ground, it is safe to say that the septic tank is full. Someone needs to call the cleaning crew. And that was it for the small changes to the hybrid and escort maps. As always, there's a small chance that I missed something, because they are so subtle and small sometimes. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you spotted something different. Once that Overwatch 2 is released, I'll surely take a look at all of these maps again. And I'll try and figure out what they changed in these last few weeks. And there are of course a few maps that were not included in any of the betas, like Blizzard World, Havana, Rialto. So there might still be a few surprises waiting for us when the game releases on October 4th. Now tell me, did you notice any of these changes while playing the game? Or maybe you found all of them? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesisTV. And make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.